All right, back to talking about this. Doctor Who, Scream of the Shalka, starring Richard E. Grant. So I was talking before about the comedy sketch that was it Stephen? Yeah, Stephen Moffat. The Doctor Who comedy sketch that Stephen Moffat made. It was Doctor Who and the Curse of Fatal Death, which I felt had this gross, childish humor in it. I was thinking, what was Stephen Moffat's? Oh, okay. I was thinking, what was Stephen Moffat's involvement in that? I read that he made that, but okay. So later in Doctor Who, like on series 8 of Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi, uh, Stephen Moffat was executive producer and also writer. So I was thinking, well, Stephen Moffat probably was writer of the comedy sketch Doctor Who and the Curse of Fatal Death. So he probably was writer of that. I'm not sure what other, maybe he had some other title, but he was probably at least the writer of that. And I mentioned Peter Capaldi before, and I was trying to quickly grab something on my shelf that Peter Capaldi's time in Doctor Who. I tried to quickly grab something, and then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, these aren't very good images of him. They were kind of small, and he was wearing, in the other one he was in a space suit, like an astronaut space suit. So then I looked at my shelf and I found better images of Peter Capaldi when he was the Doctor. And now it's time to take you to Spoiler Town, where I discuss what happens in Scream of the Shalka, Doctor Who, Scream of the Shalka, starring Richard E. Grant as the Doctor. Okay, so this is what happens. And I'll give some reaction along the way. The opening title sequence is reminiscent of John Pertwee's time as the Doctor, except for I noticed, except for in here, Planet of the Spiders. So this was John Pertwee's last season. John Pertwee's last season as the Doctor. That season that Planet of the Spiders was in. Apparently that was that had a different opening title sequence that was similar to the beginning of Tom Baker's time as the Doctor in Doctor Who. But earlier in John Pertwee's time in Doctor Who, John Pertwee's time, the opening title sequence for his earlier time, it had like they kind of look like flames. This yeah, kind of like flames. This effect, this optical effect, this visual effect of kind of flames shooting, like that's what I felt it kind of looked like, flame-like. So I felt that the opening sequence for Scream of the Shalka was similar to that in the beginning of it, of the opening title sequences, of the opening title sequence of Scream of the Shalka. Okay. So the story of Scream of the Shalka begins when a meteor crashes near Mount Ruapehu, which I believe is in New Zealand. Two men go to the crash site and see a creature. Gases are released, paralyzing the men. The creature screams. End scene. We see the TARDIS materialize in the town of Lancashire, which I think that's a fictional town. That's not a real town. And then the Doctor emerges from the TARDIS. The Doctor says, "No, it's not where we're supposed to be. I'm going to take a look around. I don't want to be here. I won't do it. Whatever it is." And then the Doctor says, "From the smell of the air, England, 2003. But something's odd about it. And where is everybody?" And then we see Allison. So here's the Doctor and Allison. And then we see Allison bartending in an English pub. The Doctor enters and orders a glass of Marceau, which, as I mentioned previously, Richard E. Grant would not be able to drink. He would get sick from that glass of Marceau. Okay, then Allison tells the Doctor they only do dry or sweet. The Doctor tells her that he doesn't do sweet. So I don't drink, so I don't really know what they're talking about when they're talking about dry and sweet. I don't know. I guess you have to drink to know what that means. I haven't had any alcohol in many, many years, and I don't miss it at all. So I'm glad that I don't feel like I'm glad that I don't feel that I need to drink it, alcohol, because there are people that do, and they have a hard time with it. There are people that struggle with alcoholism, and I appreciate that I didn't fall into that trap, because especially with excessive drinking, it's very bad for you in many ways, physically and other ways. I suppose socially bad for you too. If you drink too much alcohol, it can be dangerous. Some people tend to drink and then drive and kill people by running them, hitting them. So I'm very glad that I don't need to drink. Don't need it. I don't see any reason. There's no good in it. Although I have heard that it's good to drink some wine, but I've also heard it's bad on your brain cells. Alcohol. But I just said, and I didn't. It made me feel sick. No, not violently sick, not like Richard E. Grant, but I didn't like how alcohol made me feel. It would hurt my head, and it would just make me feel numb. I suppose that's the point. That's why people like drinking alcohol, because it numbs you. But I didn't like feeling like I didn't care about anything, like I was not really in control of myself very. Like I was, it lowers inhibitions too. Like you just feel like whatever, I'll do whatever. That's not good. Anyway, back to Scream of the Shalka. The doctor tells Allison that she's scared, but not as scared as the two men in the bar. The doctor is disappointed there isn't any Pachelbel on the jukebox, and then he leaves the bar. There's a creature outside that screams. The doctor sniffs a grate on the pavement and says, either something very odd is going on down there, or the rats have discovered the delights of the doily cart. I don't know what that is. I don't know what doily cart is. It's D'Oyly, and then cart is Carte. I don't know. Is that French? I've heard of a la carte. I don't know. All right, and then Allison goes outside as... Wait, my notes are reading here. Allison goes outside and she sees... Okay. Trying to make sense of my notes. Sometimes they don't make sense. Allison goes outside and she sees the TARDIS sink under the pavement. She doesn't know what the TARDIS is, but she sees it, and it sinks below into the pavement. Allison does. The doctor finds a figure solidified in lava. He meets a homeless woman. She asks for spare change. The doctor checks his pockets and finds Atraxian symbol seeds and Zornic groats. She tells the doctor she left her house because the floor wasn't solid. And she used to have 28 cats. That's a lot of cats. But all the cats ran away. She says that all the cats, dogs, and birds have left this town. She says that cats get scared of things. They can hear how a tiger marks their territory. So this is kind of interesting. The doctor says by low frequency sound. A booming in the throat keeps all the other top predators away. Thought that was interesting. I didn't know that about tigers. Yeah. The doctor asks, why aren't people out and about? She says, it's down there. There's a rumbling. She screams, then falls down dead.